Okay, hello everyone. How you doing? Hope everyone's fine. So, as you might know, my name is Heitor. I'm father, I'm a child developer. I survived a table time and I was a ES6 content developer back in the days. And I took some professional magic course to make all the bugs disappear magically in all my code. And I'm author of Vue books by Pack, the Vue.js Free Cookbook, and Vue.js with GraphQL. So let's start. As you might know, what is Vue Storefront? It's the last front end you ever need. It's a great catchphrase. So what's this? Because when you're using a storefront, you may need a lot of knowledge to develop your storefront. So with Vue Storefront, you just need one storefront for all your canvases and including Magento. So the idea is that using just one storefront for every all your needs is the best thing and the best solution for your store and for your clients. So we come with this idea. Who have the best time to market, providing the fastest solution, including solutions for third-party CMSs, third-party plugins. It's faster. It's all provided for you with SSR, CDNs, and COs already developed. We embrace all the core web vitals as a particular form for developing our own core product. It's pre-WA by default, and because it's Vue, the learning curve of the application, it's fast. It just takes some time, and you're already running the track of it and developing with the Vue Storefront. So the headless architecture of the Vue Storefront is simple. You take a commerce platform, and you could take a CMS, a headless CMS, or a headless checkout, or any third-party service, and you join everything with Vue Storefront, and you could deploy it to any other. So you could deploy it to the web, and you could deploy even to mobile or the desktop using PWA as an installable application. So it's the good solution for transforming the old e-commerce as just a place for shopping and browsing into a new perspective of entering the e-commerce area. Right now, Vue Storefront, the fifth popular commerce project on GitHub. And one thing it's very important, we are the biggest front-end commerce in GitHub right now. So we are the biggest one there for storefronts. So if you look under the hood right now for the Vue Storefront 2, you're using Vue.js and Next. We can't use Next without Vue.js. So you're using Vue.js and Next. For the base theme, we're using Storefront UI. We're using GraphQL and Express.js for Next as all the tech stacks, the base tech stack for the Vue Storefront development. So let's talk about Magento and Vue Storefront 2. A brief history of how the Magento 2 and Vue Storefront 2 started. Right in May, after the Vue Storefront 2 summit, we released our initial beta with just some basic functionalities working, but was working and could be some proof of concepts for some stores. And in June, a lot of bug fixes were made by our developers, and I have to thank all the reporters for those fixes. So in August, we could release our first RC version. So our RC version came closer to what you call steps to the production ready version. So with the RC version, the first RC version, we have a almost ready store, but we wanted to give the perfect solution for the first stable version. So we wanted to have as much as possible covering all the APIs from the GraphQL and having experience for the customer where they could have initial store with almost all the Magento features that we could get from the GraphQL. So in September, we released the RC3 that added all the CMS's features from Magento and new features from the product pages, like for example the groupable product and the bundle product that wasn't there first in the first RCs. And right now in October, I say right now because it was 4 days ago, we released the RC4. And in the RC4, it was good because we had to make a break change in the RC4 in how we communicated. So we could improve the integration and we could make the integration a lot more faster, a lot more reliable, and we could bring like just one step closer to the production ready version of the Magento. So if you want to look on how the integration works and how this architecture works, we have to understand two things. We have to understand how the architecture of the Vue Storefront 2 works and where the Magento gets in those way. So the Vue Storefront works in a very simple structure, while we have the core features, like for example, the composables and the API clients and our next module will be where our Magento integration will have. That's where the integration of the Magento is being developed. But if you look underneath on the other side, you're going to see there's like for CMSs and payments. Those are the extensions or the features that could be added as for the headless of the Vue Storefront. Or can I say the headless framework that Vue Storefront provide? So the idea that the Magento integration works just in a small fraction in the architecture and use just a simple part of the architecture is good because we can have a way of extending all the architecture and providing a way to plugging new features, plugging new extensions in your application, so you can improve the final application in a way where you can have a specific store for your client without the need to customize the final framework, just adding new features or plugins or extensions and making them work like Lego bricks. So the Magento integration, it communicates and works in a very simple way because we have the Magento 2 GraphQL providing the data to the API client. And the API client works with the composables where it could be, let's say, a similar way as the Vuex store data. So it's just a place where you're gonna put all the data, and the composables will be exchanging data with the API client and providing data to the theme. And the theme will be your final store. So your components, your pages, your layouts. So the idea is that your theme will fetch the data from the composable or request data from the composables. The composable will store the data or use that knowledge of what API they can call from the API client, and the API client will call those APIs from the Magento GraphQL queries. And in this road that we gone through in the development of the Magento, we learned a lot on how to develop a storefront for Magento and how this can be improved. And one thing that was very interesting for us is that the Magento GraphQL has a lot of limitations. And one limitation that's very interesting, and we have to synthesize it and get it fix it in the last RC, is the carries and mutations, complexity and depth, that by default is 300 of the complexity of 300 and the depth of 20. And that's an open issue in the Magento repository about it. So By doing this shallow complexity and a depth of 20, Magento could have a very strong recursive query, but a very shallow query. So you couldn't add a lot of fields to your query, but you could add a lot of recursive recursive asking of recursive mode in your query. So that's not the idea when you're using GraphQL, because you want all the data that you need for the pages, but only the data that you need, not all the data from the database. So that's very difficult when you're developing, for example, a PDP that you want to retrieve the data, but you're facing issues like you can't do this query because it's over 300 of complexity, and you need to redo this query, or you have to do like 3, 4, 5 queries to have your page rendered in the screen. So to fix this, the team of Caravel who's doing the integration Magento have created a module that add a custom admin screen, which you could configure the complexity and depth of the Magento GraphQL API. Simple, and fixes this need of the the API. Another thing that is very important to understand when developing the integration is that all the Magento APIs will not be valid for all the stores. So if we develop a PDP query, it will be not the same, for example, for all the stores. So maybe some stores want another PDP query or want to call different queries or mutations. So we have to develop two custom specific composables for Magento called use custom query and use custom Magento custom mutation. So in the Magento GraphQL, they could access directly the Magento API without any problem. This is very important because when you're dealing with modules or extensions in Magento that's not developed by the integration, you could use those to fetch those information in those extensions or those modules. And you found that not every module is GraphQL ready yet. So for example, some payments providers is not ready in the GraphQL mode, or some modules like, for example, CMSs or modules for CDMs are not fully developed with the GraphQL in mind. So when you're trying to use GraphQL, you may face some issues because they are developed based on REST, but you want to find the information on GraphQL and it's not there yet. So that's one thing that we need to find a solution in how to synchronize it. And for example, for the payment provider, we are finishing the external checkout solution that will end some problems with the payment provider, where you could start the shopping in the Vue Storefront, having the client do everything in the Vue Storefront, and finishing the shopping in the Magento and go back to the Vue Storefront page. It's just a simple solution to fix this and to have, like, for example, Magento providers as ready in the GraphQL. Or if you're using headless payment provider, there's no need to use external checkout. You could use the headless payment provider. So right now, the integration, as I said, it's closer to release the stable RC as we release the RC4. And the idea is to release the stable RC by the end of October and beginning of November. As I said, the important break change in the RC4 requiring a module or a manual change in the complexity of depth of the Magento GraphQL. And we need the community help to finish the stable RC by testing the integration, helping providing more feedback from the community, what they want, what are their needs, because we know that each Magento store is unique. Each Magento store has their own caveat that need to be dealt with, and we need to find those edge cases so we could apply to the integration and make the integration better for everyone. And people always ask, when is production ready? It's already production ready, if you may ask me. You could already use it in the RC4 and you can start developing the store, because the idea is that when this table gets released, there won't be so much changes. There will be just more fixes and new applies for the internal of the API and the composables, and the theme will be just some little changes and just fixes. Then on the side, then that will be more changes on the APIs and the composables. So we could start developing a store right now and have a production using as a production ready product. So it's good to start people using as a production ready product. If you want to use it, there's some important links. The documentation is docs.vuestorefront.io/Magento. Our repository is github.com/vuestorefront/Magento2. And there you're gonna find our roadmap, our issues, and you could start your project right now. I want to thank you very much, everyone, for participating, and I will let those final minutes for a Q&A and open for answer everyone's questions.
Okay, Heitor, thank you for this great presentation. I have a question for you about how well is optimized this version. I'm asking from the Google Insights, Google PageSpeed point of view.
Yeah, right now we have optimization. We focus on the optimization. If you look on the Lighthouse, it's on the demo that we have that's running under a non-optimized server on the Magento side, under the Nuts side. So I call it all non-optimized. It's getting 85 score on the Lighthouse, but it's when you have running on a fully optimized solution, you can get up to 97, 98 score, even better. So it's like the idea is when you're having a best optimizing server for your Next or for your Magento, you can get even more scores because the integration it's fully optimized, and the idea is that the most problematic thing that we have right now is the API connections rather than the rendering and how the integration works by itself. Because the Vue Storefront by default, it's created with the Core Web Vitals in head. So it's based to be fast as possible. So we wanted to provide the best solution for everyone and the fastest solution for everyone.
Okay, this is great information. And I have one more question. How about group pricing, customer group? I know that the current version does not bring this information to front.
Yeah, we are not providing yet this feature, but in future versions, we will provide it more features as group pricing and other stuff from Magento, because right now all those features are needed. We are adding as people are asking us to add those features, because we are, as I said, we are developing as the need of each store, as people provide the feedback from each store. So we are going as the basic store, and as like for example the basic simple data to create the 101 to the Luma template, not using the Luma template as a base, but using the Vue Storefront template as a base, but to be like, for example, the 101 to display store handling and displaying the products, displaying the experience, and then people will provide. I need this feature to be ready. I need this feature to be placed. My store needs this feature, and we are developing those features as people are asking, because we know that Magento has a lot of features, and if you try to tackle all those features at once, the integration won't be developed as fast as it was, because it was like 5 months of developing, and we have a full integration developed and running already. And the team is very small, like it's me and another guy developing the integration. It's part-time, it's not full-time.
Okay, I see. Okay, if there are any other questions, no, there are not. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you all for being here, and thank you again, Heitor. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much,
Have
guys.
a good day.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone.